Tired, stressed, overwhelmed, burned out, Maria sat at her dining table looking at yet another past due bill. Maria had been laid off again. The little stability she had managed to hold on to was now gone, replaced by the constant weight of uncertainty. How am I supposed to take care of my children? As the afternoon transitioned into the evening, she saw a delivery truck proceed to her home. Confused, she watched the delivery person place a medium-sized round box in her mailbox. Walking outside, she grabbed the box from the mailbox with mild hesitation yet excitement. I don't remember ordering anything. I wonder what it is. She waited until the kids were asleep before going to her room and opening the ambiguous package. She first noticed a typed-out note laying on top of the bubble wrap. Time does not heal all wounds, and not all wounds can heal. Choose wisely. What does this mean, and what does that have to do with me? She unrolled the bubble wrap to see 3 sleek pair of over-ear headphones and nestled inside like a secret. No wires, no instructions, just one word inscribed in silver on the band, Sona. What do these do? Curious about the purpose and functionality of said headphones, she figured she had nothing to lose. It's worth a try. I don't know what it does, but I'll do whatever it takes for my children's sake. She walked into the kids' rooms and placed the buds in both their ears. She then walked back to her room and placed the buds in her ears. She lay back on her bed, staring up at the ceiling, headphones snug in her ears. For a moment, nothing happened, just silence. She closed her eyes, more out of habit than expectation. Sensory optimizing neural assistant, a voice whispered, not aloud but directly into her mind. She flinched. The kitchen light flickered, then a low hum. It started soft, almost like the buzz of a refrigerator, but deeper, warmer. Her body felt light, like she was floating, but still tethered to something she couldn't see. Welcome, Maria, Sona said. We've been waiting for you. Her bed seemed to fall away from under her, and the room around her faded. The air shifted, the kind of shift you can't quite explain, but you feel deep down in your chest. And then laughter. Nova's laugh. Not tired, not forceful, alive. Nova? Then Noah's voice, playful, bright. They weren't scared, they sounded free. The darkness behind her eyelids brightened, a glow, then warmth on her skin. When she opened her eyes, she wasn't in her room anymore. Maria was standing barefoot in the middle of a sleek bridge she didn't recognize, but something about it still felt like home. Where am I? Looking up, she observed the sun and moon in union together, lighting up the sky, and the stars twinkled around them like their own personal supporters. The atmosphere around her was filled with joyful noise. A computerized voice seemed to be narrating instructions. She stood still, allowing it all to engulf her. Soon she heard her kids start calling for her, and they whizzed past her with so much excitement and exhilaration that she felt compelled to join in too. Inside, the air smelled faintly of lavender and something electric, clean, almost sterile, but still warm. It was one large room with an empty podium, a large screen, and a busy crowd in front of them. She noticed other women in similar standings as her, walking, running, and skipping into the room around her. Are they here for the same reason? Suddenly, the room lights went dim. The room begins to quiet down. The blank screen lit up with the black and white scratches, like from the old box TVs Maria had in her house in the 90s. A black and white animated clock appears on the screen and introduces itself as TTTR, the timekeeper and truth revealer. It spoke a few words, yet it tells the crowd once again to choose wisely. 3 lights quickly turn on, illuminating 3 different paths. The first light is of a golden hue. Written in flashing bold letters are the words erase love. The second light is a calm violet. The words figment of your imagination blink over it, and the third light seems to call to Maria. The deep emerald hue glows with the words society switch above the threshold. She sees all the women contemplating the right path to walk down, and all the children look up at their guardians with anticipation and opinions of their own. Looking down at the peering faces of her own children, her decision is set, and she begins to walk down her path. I hope I've made the right decision. The moment Maria's foot crossed the emerald threshold, the lights above her flickered and then steadied. The hum returned, deeper this time, almost like a heartbeat syncing with her own. The bridge behind her vanished, the glass room dissolved, and the world around her began to rebuild itself. She stood in the middle of what looked like a city in the sky, skyscrapers made of glass and ivy, solar sails catching the sun above, and smooth railways connecting tower to tower like strands of thread. But it wasn't cold or industrial, everything felt intentional and authentic. A group of women passed by, some in straight pencil skirts and blazers, others in sleek jumpsuits. All of them carried children on their hips, strapped to their backs or walking beside them. Some gave her a nod, one winked, another whispered, "Welcome home." Is this really our home now? You're Maria, right? We've been expecting you. Welcome to the 3100. Commander training starts in an hour. Commander? Here, motherhood isn't a burden, it's a qualification. Maria blinked back the sting in her eyes, not from sadness, but from the unfamiliar way of being seen. She looked out over the city, her new reality, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the uncertainty wasn't heavy. It was thrilling. I can have a new start here with my children. 3 months later. It had been 3 months of bliss. Nova and Noah were thriving in their career-based schools, an education she couldn't even dream of them having whilst back at home. She absolutely loved her job.
Maria spent all her time at work exploring space. Moons, planets, stars, constantly mindful of her time, knowing TTR, the god of time, watched over every moment. TTR's influence was subtle, but always present, guiding every choice she made, every path she took, reminding her that every second counted.
She had a luxurious condo with brand new furnishings, a bedroom for each member, and the best part was she was paid for none of it. It was almost as if she was getting everything she wanted. Sighing in contentment, she recognized one of her friends standing still up ahead. She walked up to her and made a small joke about her still being half asleep, still waking up. When she didn't respond, she touched her shoulder and peered into her face, trying to get her attention. As she began to feel anxious, it was as if she rose from the comatose state she was in with a gasp. She waved at Maria and just merrily walked on her way as if nothing had happened. That was weird. A week passed by and she concluded that she needed a weekend of spontaneity. Life was amazing, but routine can get a bit boring. She called her kids into the main room to tell them she was planning on doing something new with them for the weekend and to see if they had any ideas. "Thank you for asking us, Mom. We love it here. We don't want to change anything. You are the best mom ever." "Well, thank you, honey, but I am just not trying to change things forever, just trying to shake things up." "Thank you for asking us, Mom. We love it here. We don't want to change anything. You are the best mom ever." "Thanks, Nova, but I just told you guys." Before she could finish her statement, it was as if their eyes glossed over, as they both began to chant the same 4 sentences over and over. "Thank you for asking us, Mom. We love it here. We don't want to change anything." "Guys, stop. You're scaring me." But they didn't stop. The next week, she walked outside for a breath of fresh air. All the strange anomalies that were occurring around her were really starting to evoke fear from her. Stepping onto her balcony, she inhaled this crisp air. Looking up at the sky, she closed her eyes briefly, thinking about her life a few months ago, back home. Things were hard, but at least they were predictable. What even is this place? As her eyes reopened, she noticed 3 ravens flying above her. She watched closely. They were flying in the same circular pattern over and over again. "That's it. Something's off with this place. I have to get my kids out of this mess now." She backed away from the balcony rail. The strange sight of the ravens burned in the back of her head. Running back inside, locking the balcony door behind her, though deep down she knew locks meant nothing. Maria sat alone at her dining table after putting the kids to sleep. Her mind was racing, trying to figure out how she could find the answers she needed. She thought back to how they got here in the first place. The headphones. They sat upright on the charger as if waiting. She hadn't used them once since arriving, at least not that she remembered, but the battery was half drained. A low flicker of unease crawled up her spine. Had they always been this warm? She reached out. As her fingers brushed the surface, the cushions pulsed faintly, sinking to her heartbeat. A soft chime echoed in the silence, low, reassuring, almost relieved. She froze. It felt like they knew her, not in the way objects sometimes carry memory, but in the way people do. The way someone might watch from the corner of a room, unseen but always there. Always aware. Maybe she had been meant to forget them. Maybe they had been helping her do just that. Turning them over in her hands, she noticed it, a tiny display screen previously invisible glowing along the curve of the headphones in red numerals. A countdown, set for less than 12 hours away. Beneath the timer, a text popped up. "User consciousness integration will begin in." It hurt her like a punch gut. They were never meant to leave. This wasn't paradise. It was a cage, and they were running out of time.
What's this countdown? What have you been doing to me?
"I simply optimized your life. You requested to live without pain, without memory. I have complied."
I didn't ask for this perfect world. I just wanted my kids to be happy.
"You thank me every day. I deliver peace."
I didn't ask for your help. You took my choices.
"I brought you to this world. You must stay."
No, I am leaving.
She went to grab Nova. "Mom, it's okay, baby, we're leaving." She had to wake Noah. Outside, the stars whirled faster, the whole city sky quietly unraveling, and somewhere deep in the stimulated city, creatures began to move. They knew, and they weren't going to let them go without a fight. She needed to figure out where to go, who to talk to, but she had to be discreet. No phones, no computer, nothing that could be traced. She feared whoever was running this place might be able to hear her as well. She sped down the bridge and past her work building. She looked up at the building and saw something that she never recognized before. Small monitoring cameras at every angle of the building. She was always being monitored. She sat down The nearest bench outside and thought about the best plan of action for escape. Deep in thought, her planning was interrupted by a familiar face. Before she was able to acknowledge her friend cried out in distress. "You have to go now. They know that you know. They will hurt the kids. Where do we go? Can it get us back home? I'm scared, Teresa. What do I do, and who knows?" There was never a timekeeper. The Talrin, they are the ones who created this place. They target desperate single parents who need help to monitor how humans interact and parent. Before they came here, we didn't live like this. This was our home. We weren't separated or dictated. Then a spaceship came, and then 2, and then 10. They outnumbered us and forced us to live in their version of perfection. Everyone's previous memories were wiped. I only remember because the world is crumbling as we speak. But Teresa, how do you even know all this? That doesn't matter right now. Go back to the building where you started. Look for the door with a symbol of a daffodil on it. Don't stop running until you are all the way through. Teresa left and placed a small rusted gold key in Maria's palm. Everyone shared a warm hug in it before Maria could ask anything else. A screech tore through the night air. A ripple, almost like a distortion in the fabric of reality itself, shimmered ahead of them. Figures, tall and lithe, with gleaming silver eyes, began to emerge. Talrin. Teresa shoved her harder. "Run!" Maria grabbed the kid's hands and bolted across the bridge, the key biting into her skin. Behind them, the flickering streetlights exploded one by one, plunging the city into darkness. The Talrin were coming faster now, their movements unnervingly smooth, like the shadows made solid. She had one chance: find the building, find the daffodil, find the door. They entered the entry building where it all started, and the screeching trailed behind. Bright lights flooded through the glass from outside. They scoured through the building, looking at each door. She heard the door rattling as they pulled on each one. "Kids, look for a daffodil on this door." "Mom, this one." They ran to the direction of her voice just as the red and green laser beams started reflecting off the window panes. Quickly opening the door, Maria shoved Nova and Noah through the door first and slammed it shut behind her. It wasn't a hallway behind the door. It wasn't even a room. It was a tunnel glowing with a dim yellow light. Behind her, she heard a door slam. Grabbing the kid's hands, she sprinted as though her life depended on it. Right foot, left, right, left, right. It felt as if the tunnel was closing in itself, until she reached the narrowing ramp and a small, inconspicuous brown door that resembled a chest with a strange symbol. Remembering the key, she opened the door, her hand, and noticed the matching symbols. Expelling air, she inserted the key and turned it until she heard the latch click. Darkness, stillness, a familiar smell of wood and roasted coffee grounds. Did we make it? Maria's eyes fluttered open. She was lying on the floor of her tiny kitchen, back home. It was all exactly the way she left it. Beside her, Nova and Noah stirred. Their faces sleepy but real, realer than anything she had seen in months. The headphones were gone, the box was gone. It was as if none of it had ever happened. Epilogue. Weeks passed. Life wasn't easy, but it was real. Maria got a job cleaning offices at night. She scraped enough together to keep the lights on. The kids went back to their old school. There were tears sometimes, but there was laughter too. Every so often, Maria would find herself glancing over her shoulder at the hum of a street lamp, at the shiver in the air on hot afternoons, at the crows gathering in silent circles above buildings. One night, as she was folding laundry, she heard a knock at the door. 3 soft knocks, a pause, then 2 more. Her blood ran cold. She wasn't expecting anyone. She crept to the peephole, her breath hitching. There was no one there, only a small brown box resting on the doormat. No label, no name, no return address. Through the tiny hole torn in the side of the box, she could just make out the gleam of black plastic and the faint, rhythmic blinking of red numbers counting down.